जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज विहारी जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तिरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तिरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय श्री गोपाल की जय गुरुदेव हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mataji, welcome all of you for this Srimad Bhagavatam session, and thank you for joining and keeping the appointment with Krishna. Today we will be discussing two verses, 59 and 60, from the 4th canto, 8th chapter. First, let us recite the verse and then. Evam kayena manasa vachasa cha manogatam paricharyamano bhagavan bhaktimat paricharyaya. Evam kayena manasa vachasa cha manogatam परिचर्यमाणो भगवान् भक्तिमत् परिचर्यया. Any one of you can recite this verse first?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, may I?
Yes, Mataji.
एवं कायेन मनसा वचसा च मनोगतं परिचर्यमाणो भगवान् भक्तिमत्परिचर्यया. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Next 50th verse. Sorry, 60. Pumsam amayinam samyak bhajatam bhavavardanah Shreyo dishatyabhimatam yaddharmadishu dehinam. Pumsam amayinam samyak bhajatam bhavavardhanah Shreyo dishatyabhimatam yaddharmadishu dehinam. Anyone of you wants to recite?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji.
पुंसामामेनां सभ्यं पुंसाममायिनां सम्यग् भजतां भाववर्धनः श्रेयो दिश्यत्यभिमतं युद्धा मादिषु देहिनां. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any Prabhus?
Hare Krishna, may I?
Hare Krishna.
Pumsam amayinam samyag bhajatam bhavavardhanah shreyo dishatyabhimatam yaddharmadishu dehinam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Go to the word meaning, synonyms. Evam, thus, kayena, by the body, manasa, by the mind, vachasa, by the words, cha, also, managatam, simply by thinking of the Lord, paricharyamanaha, engage into the devotional service, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, bhaktimat, according to the regulative principles of devotional service, paricharyaya, by worshipping the Lord, pumsam, of the devotee, amayinam, who is sincere and serious, samyak, perfectly, bhajatam, engaged in devotional service, bhava vardhanaha, the Lord who increases the ecstasy of the devotee, shreya, ultimate goal, dishati, bestows, abhimatam, desire, yat, as they are, dharma adishu, regarding spiritual life and economic development, dehinam, of the conditioned souls. Translation and purport by Divine Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. Anyone who thus engages in the devotional service of the Lord, seriously and sincerely, with his mind, words, and body, and who is fixed in the activities of the prescribed devotional methods, is blessed by the Lord according to his desire. If a devotee desires material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation from the material world, he is awarded these results. Purport. Devotional service is so potent that one who renders devotional service can receive whatever he likes as a benediction from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Conditioned souls are very much attached to the material world, and thus, by performing religious rites, they want the material benefits known as dharma and artha. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Gyantamrandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanyamano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayamrupakadamahyam Nadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utavadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shri Vishaka Vitamischa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Takta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhan Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Matidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Yonta pravishya mama vacha imam prasuptam sanjeevayati akila shakti dharasvadhamna anyam cha hasta charana shravanatva gadin prananamo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam mukam karoti vacharam pangam langeti girim yat kurvat brahmam tamam vande parmanam namo vishnuvaya vishnuvaya namo vishnuvaya Vishweshwara Vasudhistani. Yes, Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Krishna Krishna. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mataji, thank you for joining and keeping the appointment with Krishna today, 4th of December 2024. So we'll be discussing 4th canto, 8th chapter, verse number 59 and 60. Before going to this verse, in the previous verse, in the translation, that is 58th verse, the translation Prabhupada says, one should follow in the footsteps of previous devotees regarding how to worship the Supreme Lord with the prescribed paraphernalia. Or one should offer worship within the heart by reciting the mantra to the personality of Godhead, who is non-different from the mantra. The mantra he is talking about here was Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, which Narada Muni gave it to Dhruva Maharaj. So, we should worship Sri Radha Krishna deities because it is our Vedic culture to perform deity worship. So this reminds a beautiful verse in this current chapter itself, where Narada Muni is reciting very beautifully. That is for the 50th verse. Padbhyam nakamani shrenya vilasadbhyam samarchatam pritpadma karnika dishnyam akramyatmani avasthitam. Real yogis meditate upon the transcendental form of the Lord as he stands on the bowl of the lotus of their hearts, the jewel-like nails of his lotus feet glittering. So in this verse, the word akramya means seizing. It's very interesting to meditate. So see, the meaning of the word seize, S-E-I-Z-E, right? It's given as lay hold of something forcibly or suddenly. So take possession of by warrant or legal right. So Prabhupada writes a very wonderful commentary on this 52nd verse. The Archana Marga, that is deity worship, Archana Marga, or the devotional path prescribed in the Pancharatra system of devotional service for worshipping the deity in the temple, makes the devotee think constantly of the Lord. That is samadhi or trance. So they are thinking of the Lord, how to offering the various paraphernalia for the arati, offering bhoga, everything, right? It's like a samadhi. So one who practices in this way cannot deviate from the service of the Lord. And that makes him perfect in the mission of human life. So you have to pray to the Lord, right? So that we can perform this Archana Marga with complete dedication and devotion. That's why this verse is so... It's one more verse, I think, with regard in Chaitanya Charitamrita actually. Ayata surato pangor mama manda mater gati mas sarvasya padam bhojo radha madana mohana. Radha madana mohana. All glories to the supremely merciful Sri Radha Madana Mohana. Although I am lame and foolish, they are my refuge and their lotus feet are my everything. So this is power of taking the shelter of the deities. Now, see, always we say you have to take the association of devotees, right? You can never realize or really conceive of the power of association. And all the more important is the meaning of full surrender to a spiritual master. See, in the episode of Mrigari the hunter, so Narada Muni he gave wonderful instructions to Mrigari. Thereby he became his disciple, right? So these are the transcendental instructions for Narada Muni to Mrigari. What Mrigari, the hunter, his main income was by killing the animals, but not fully, yeah? Half killing the animals. So which Narada Muni saw and said, what are you doing? Either you leave them or kill them fully. Why are you half killing? All the more painful, right? So that's what, so he saw the Mrigari the hunter and then he gave the instructions. So there are 5 instructions given by Narada Muni to Mrigari. Number 1, distribute the wealth you accumulated to pure Brahmanas. See, the wealth that we accumulate, no, through various means, working, business, so many things, carries the reactions of the sins we do, no, to correct it. Knowingly or unknowingly, we don't know, right? So Narada Muni advised Mrigari to distribute them all to the saintly people. And the saintly people have the power to nullify the sinful reactions. So as a bona fide spiritual master, Narada Muni, he destroyed the past sins of his disciple, Mrigari. At the same time, inculcating the habit of charity in him. Yeah, of course. However, we cannot take it as a general template, right? To commit whatever sins we want, first of all, hoard the wealth by that means, through illegal means, and then donate them to some temples, just like it is tantamount to being doing bribe to the Lord, right? Thinking that it will absolve us of all the sins. No, that is not correct. It is said in Bhagavatam 10:84-37. Ayam swasti ayana pantha dvijater graha medinaha yach chadda yapta vittena shukle nejyatya purushaha. This is the most auspicious path for a religious householder of the twice-born orders to selflessly worship the personality of Godhead with wealth honestly obtained. See, the special qualification of the hunter, Mrigari, is that he was genuinely repentant of his past sins. He was doing that, but he was just because he's coming from his own forefathers and all. So he was continuing to do that. So nobody instructed him. Narada Muni just came by that way, and he saw him doing this. So after he was instructed, he felt repentant. So ultimately, because he was genuinely repentant, oh, I'm doing something very wrong. So all these past sins, will get washed away. And in an effort to absolve himself of these sins, he took complete shelter of a pure devotee like Narada Muni. See, most importantly, Mrigari did not have any expectation from Narada Muni that he should do this favor to him. He never expected that. You please come and give me this, be my spiritual master. It's not like in a supermarket, you can go and shop for your spiritual master. So in such genuine cases, what happens? The spiritual master can submit an exception to Krishna on our behalf. So this is the first point. That is, distribute the wealth you accumulated to pure Brahmanas. Not to any good cause, right? Like Krishna consciousness, for temple, food distribution, everything. The second point is, Vanaprastha, that is, leave home, taking only one cloth to wear. Mrigari was not living a Grahastha life. Although he had a family, he was lower than a Grahamedi. But by the causeless mercy of Narada Muni, he directly took to the Vanaprastha order. Now, see, since the atmosphere of his house was filled with so many sins, Narada Muni wanted him to give it up and start a new life of devotional service along with his wife. See, very beautiful instruction is given. The second instruction is purpose of the second instruction. What is it? It says, by keeping the food, clothing, and shelter requirements. This is what we always want. We want food, we want clothing, and shelter. 3 important things we want. Roti, kapda, makan, we say, right? By keeping the food, clothing, and shelter requirements to a minimum and leading a simple life, what will happen? One's tendency to commit sins will be greatly reduced. And also subsequently, the dependency of Krishna's shelter will increase. So this is the purpose of this second instruction of the Vanaprastha. Third, go to a river and construct a small cottage to live. These are instructions given to Margari. So living near a river is favorable in various ways. It provides a very sattvic atmosphere. So most of the local villagers visit there to fetch water from the river. Animals also go there only to quench their thirst. So the river being very highly sattvic in nature, it will inculcate the same mood in the hunter. And thereby it eradicates sinful propensities from his mind also. Also, he can get water, fruits, vegetables, and various other sattvic food by being near the river. Wood will be available easily to build a small, simple cottage. So the food and shelter problem will be solved in this way. So that is the third point. The fourth one, grow a tulsi plant and worship her every day. So it is interesting to note that Narada Muni gave the same instruction to Dhruva Maharaj too. Even though he was a small boy and was going inside a dangerous forest to meditate on the Lord. So this shows the importance of Tulsi Maharani, worshipping her in our devotional life, because she is Krishna Bhakti Pradayini, bestower of Krishna Bhakti. So by circumambulating the Tulsi plant, even the gravest sin of killing a Brahmana can be destroyed. Now Haridas Thakur also advised the prostitute who came to attract him. So he advised her to worship Tulsi Devi, and she became a great devotee. Initially she came to attract him, but she got the devotional service. Now Prabhupada, he writes in the purport of 4855, Tulsi leaves are very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and devotees should take particular care to have Tulsi leaves in every temple and center of worship. So Narada Muni's instruction of worshipping Tulsi Devi is very conducive to bhakti. Then the fifth point is, fifth instruction, continuously chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is the final and topmost instruction. So Narada Muni advised Mrigari to continuously chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Especially the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Shukadeva Goswami speaks this beautiful verse to Parikshit Maharaj in Bhagavatam 6.3.31. Tasma Sankirtanam Vishnor Jagan Mangalam Amhasam Mahatam Api Kauravya Vidyaikantika Nishkritam. My dear king, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is able to uproot even the reactions of the greatest sins. Therefore, the chanting of the Sankirtana movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Please try to understand this so that others will take it seriously. So the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only way to destroy even the greatest of sins and bring auspiciousness to the entire universe. Therefore, Prabhupada has given us this topmost instruction to advance in our bhakti, to always chant the holy names irrespective of time, place, and circumstances. Hari Sarvatra Sarvada. Hari Sarvatra Sarvada. See in Bhagavatam 2.2.36. Tasma Sarvatmana Rajan Hari Sarvatra Sarvada Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyo Bhagavan Ranam. O King, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. Sarvatra Sarvada, always and everywhere. So, with the first instruction, Narada Muni destroyed, first instruction to the Margari, Narada Muni destroyed all the accumulated sinful reactions of the hunter. In the next two instructions, second and third, he made arrangement to lead a simple life with minimum endeavor for food, cloth, and shelter. And the last two instructions, fourth and fifth, Narada Muni gave him the supreme method of performing sadhana to advance in his devotional service, chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, and Tulsi, offering Tulsi the arati, flowers, and circumambulating. So with just 5 simple instructions, Narada Muni changed the entire life of the hunter upside down. So this is the greatness of an exalted Acharya like Narada Muni. See, we have seen Narada Muni's instruction to Dhruva Maharaj, right, in this chapter, as to how to be engaged in meditation to please the Supreme Lord. See, while describing Lord's beautiful personal form, Narada Muni says that all his bodily features are very attractive and pleasing to the eyes. Lord is always peaceful, calm, quiet, and smiling. And the devotee should constantly see the Lord in this form, as the Lord looks very mercifully towards the devotee. So one who meditates in this way, according to instructions of Narada Muni or the spiritual master, concentrating his mind upon the all auspicious form of the Lord, is very soon freed from all material contamination. That's why when you go to the temple or a neighbor's house, the deities, just have the darshan, just go on meditating on the Archa Vigraha of the Supreme Personality of Radha Krishna Lord, right? So one who meditates in this way, is very soon freed from all material contamination. So in our daily sadhana, we tend to take things for granted, right? We are trying to engage in devotional service. Of course, we are trying to engage. However, we lack concentration. We are not able to concentrate while chanting, while offering prayers, in Krishna Katha. The concentration is not so much. Attention is not so, rapt attention is not there. So due to this poor concentration, we do not have the consistency in our sadhana. That's why the consistency is on. We do very nicely one day. Next day, slackens, right? So Narada Muni advises that we need to be very careful by concentrating on the auspicious form of the Lord if we really want to be freed from material contamination. So Narada Muni advised Dhruva Maharaj that he should be sober and peaceful and must be satisfied simply with eating whatever fruits and vegetables are available in the forest. That's why in the current verse which we are discussing, before leaving, after giving the instructions to Dhruva Maharaj, before he left, Narada Muni gave wonderful instruction in this 4, 8, 59 and 60. That's what evam kayena manasa vachasa cha manogatam paricharyamano bhagavan bhaktimat paricharyaya pumsam amayinam samyak bhajatam bhava vardhanah shreyo dishatyabhimatam yad dharmadishu dehina. Anyone who thus engages in the devotional service of the Lord, seriously and sincerely, very important words. Anyone who thus engages, thus means, as you already instructed to Dhruva Maharaj, so how to engage in the various devotional service. You just read the 58th verse also, right? So seriously and sincerely, with his mind, words and body, and who is fixed in the activities of the prescribed devotional methods, he is blessed by the Lord according to his desire. So if a devotee desires material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification or liberation from the material world, he is awarded these results. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So from this verse, we can understand the current verse which we are discussing today, why our desires are not fulfilled by the Lord. See, devotional service is it's not an optional business. It's actually a service, a serious business. And sincerity is its foundation. Devotional service is a serious business and sincerity is its foundation. So without seriousness and sincerity in devotional service, we cannot expect Krishna to fulfill any of our desires, material or spiritual. So Krishna will not be pleased unless we follow the guidelines of pure devotees like Narada Muni. Half-hearted bhakti is discouraged in this verse. Chalta hai, correct? नहीं चलता है ऐसा ये चलेगा. चलता है mentality will not fetch us the desired results. First of all, we need to become a devotee to serve the Lord. Devotee means servant of the Lord. And servant cannot afford to be lazy and lethargic. Therefore, our kaya, vacha and manasa, body, mind and words, need to be engaged in service to Lord without duplicity. Then by the grace of Guru and Krishna and Prabhupada, our desires will be fulfilled. In due course of time, as per their will. We cannot force them, right? They see how sincere you are in your sadhana. There's a beautiful saying which says, Procrastination is the thief of time. Procrastination is the thief of time. So we must cultivate the habit of performing our duties right away without postponing. Procrastination means postponing. Kal karega, tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. So the cultivation of the habit of performing our duties immediately, just immediately, start right now without postponing. So this holds good, well, not only for duties related to the material world, but also to our spiritual sadhana, both. If we think that we have plenty of time and keep postponing our service, we would later on what happens, we will struggle to even perform the simplest of things. So while explaining the greatness of Dhruva Maharaj's determined meditation, Radhamani he was explaining to his father, Dhruva Maharaj's father, Uttanapada. He says, "My dear king, your son is very competent. He will perform activities which would be impossible even for great kings and sages. Very soon he will complete his task and come back home. You should know that he will also spread your reputation all over the world." This is what Narada told to his father. After he instructed Dhruva Maharaj to go and do the meditation, he came back home to the palace and explained to Uttanapada. So Dhruva Maharaj was very determined that he would see the Lord by undergoing the austerities suggested by Narada Muni. That is the faith in the instructions of the spiritual master. And he was very determined. I will not return back home until he becomes successful in his attempt. That is the determined, complete, intense desire, determination, complete the full instructions, to take the instructions of his spiritual master as a life and soul. Even though he's a small boy, he never flickered from his sadhana. See, what a wonderful lessons we can gain from Dhruva Maharaj. But he kept on improving his performance day by day. So much so, he pleased the Supreme Lord within a short span of few months. See, in the story of the hare and the tortoise, everybody knows the story. We find that though the tortoise obviously had no chance to move faster than the rabbit, since it attempted to take part in the race and kept on moving in a slow and steady manner, it was able to win the race. Hare, on the other hand, due to his procrastinating nature and lack of focus, lost the race. He was overconfident. I am faster than him. So in the purport of 4872, by glorifying Dhruva Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada gives a punching instruction. He says, it is our duty to remember always that in comparison to Dhruva Maharaj, we are insignificant. We cannot do anything like what Dhruva Maharaj did for self-realization because we are absolutely incompetent to execute such service. But by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, we have been given all concessions possible for this Kali Yuga, for this age, so that at least we should always remember that neglect of our prescribed duties in devotional service, it will not make us successful in the mission we have undertaken. We should be very alert. So it is our duty to follow in the footsteps of Dhruva Maharaj, for he was very determined. This is a very important quality we should have, determination. We should also be determined to finish our duties in executing devotional service in this life. We should not wait for another life to finish our job. So we should not think that since there are 8,400,000 varieties of life, it is enough if we have just started our devotional service in this lifetime and attain perfection in later future births. If we just while away our time in this manner, then we are sure to lose the race like the rabbit. So this verse 459-60, Amayina, in the word meaning, you saw the word Amayina means who is sincere and serious. That is, anyone who thus engages in devotional service to the Lord seriously and sincerely, with his mind, words, and body, and is fixed in the activities of the prescribed devotional methods. That is, giving Mangalarti, offering Bhoga, association, chanting, all this prescribed devotional methods. He is blessed by the Lord according to his desire. So these two, sincere and serious, very, very important. See, we have the 7 problems. Each one of us are having 7 problems which we have to face in this life. What are those? And it is, nobody can escape this. Number one, birth, death, old age, disease, then problems caused due to our mind, others, and demigods. See, my Guru Maharaj was referring about an old man he had met in the airport who was actually talking alone in a crazy manner. He said old age is the most miserable condition. Whether we like it or not, all of us become old sooner or later. When we are young, at least the body cooperates. But when we become old, body becomes easily prone to more diseases. Apart from bodily problems, our children will not listen to us, and our family might also neglect us if they don't find us useful. So when we are left alone within the four walls, with no activity, what happens? Our minds go crazy. Even if there is no one to listen, we feel like talking about our past and lead a life of fear and horror and keep dying many times in this life before the actual death. The verse in Bhagavatam 3:30-16, third canto, 30th chapter, 16th verse, very nicely describes the miserable conditions of old man at the time of death. It says in the translation, in that diseased condition, one's eyes bulge due to the pressure of air from within, and his glands become congested with mucus. He has difficulty breathing, and upon exhaling and inhaling, he produces a sound like gur gur, a rattling within the throat. So for those who are not holding to the lotus feet of Krishna, old age is definitely a pain. So we should hold tight Dhrita Harihi, not Dhritarashtra, Dhrita Harihi. So if you're holding the lotus feet of Krishna very tightly, then old age is, otherwise, if you're not holding, it's definitely a pain. This is because they lack the knowledge of real goal of life and do not possess the wealth of scriptural knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. But those who are under his shelter, old age cannot trouble them. Sanatana Goswami had taken a vow to perform Govardhana Parikrama every day. And he continued to do it even after he became very old. It takes a long time, right? So what happened? Moved by Sanatana Goswami's austerity, the Lord appeared before him and even asked him not to do so. Now you are quite old. Now every day you are doing Govardhana Parikrama, it takes a long time. Now you're old. No, stop it. But Sanatana Goswami was so firm in following his regulative principles that he said that he would not give up his sadhana at any cost. Now the Lord revealed his identity to Sanatana Goswami, and he manifested in the form a small Govardhan Shila and ordered Sanatana Goswami to circumambulate the same small Govardhan Shila. Krishna told him that this Shila was non-different from himself. So because Sanatana Goswami was strictly performing his daily sadhana with firm determination, he was able to continue his lifelong sadhana even in old age. Krishna facilitates. So this is an important lesson for all of us. If we are negligent in performing our sadhana when we are hale and hearty, how would we be able to continue it in our old age? So when you are hale and hearty, you should continue doing it. Then it will be easier in the old age also. So let us therefore take this example of Sanatana Goswami very seriously and perform our sadhana sincerely to the best of our ability by praying to Guru, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna to give us the strength. See in Bhagavatam 11:14-22, it says, neither religious activities endowed with honesty and mercy, nor knowledge obtained with great penance can completely purify one's consciousness, loving service to me. So whatever austerity you are doing in sadhana, everything, getting up, everything is doing, but it doesn't have the loving service attitude to the Lord, then it is of no use. So this verse is very apt. As whenever we are given a service, we feel that one must do an important service where we can come to limelight of devotees and be recognized. This is what happens. We get a service, we want to do in such a way that we are watched, we are seen, and we come into the limelight and be recognized, appreciated. But we do not understand that our devotional service is to please Krishna, not to please anybody and everybody. But the general tendency for sorry, just a moment. See, the general tendency for all of us who are not very sincere in the devotional service, right? It's very, very difficult to continue further. So whenever we given a service, we feel that somebody should appreciate us, we should be in the limelight. But no, we want people to recognize the work and appreciate. So what happened long back, one of the devotees, when he first joined the movement, he was told to sweep the temple room. So he felt very bad. He was thinking, why I was chosen for this service? Because that devotee was feeling in the heart of heart, maybe people do not know that I am an educated person and I am not meant to do such menial service. This is what he was thinking. So there's a nice story in this regard. See, there was a very learned Brahmana Pandit. He was very good in Vedic rituals and a very respected man. So young cowherd girl, Lakshmi, she used to bring milk from the other side of the river. So she woke up early in the morning, bathed the cows and milked them. She even cooked for her old father and then set out to deliver the milk to the Brahmana by crossing the river. Of course, she used to pray that the boatman comes in time so that she can deliver the milk to the Brahmana in time. She used to go through the boatman every day in good time. But one day, boatman was late and the cowherd girl was late in bringing the milk. The Brahmana requested her to bring the milk before sunrise. But the next day, when she reached the shore, boatman was not there. Unfortunately, she was late again. So the Brahmana was very annoyed with her. She explained that she cannot cross the river without the help of the boatman. And she takes up the first boat to bring the milk to him. Brahmana very proudly told, do you know how much I have read, how much scholars respect me, and now I am disregarded by a mere milkmaid? People cross the ocean of life by chanting the name of Hari. And you can't even cross a small river. What did he say? Yeah, I am a very learned person, people respect me and all. And he said, people cross the ocean of life by chanting the name of Hari, and you can't even cross a small river. Now, Lakshmi took this seriously in her heart and thought, see, the statement we might have just thinking, but if we really listen to that statement, what did he say? People cross the ocean of life by chanting the name of Hari, and you can't even cross a small river. So chanting is very important. So Lakshmi took this very seriously in her heart and thought, I wish Panditji had told me this solution early. That is, by chanting, she can cross the river. Next day, she reached very early and greeted the Panditji. He was pretty surprised to see her coming without a boat and on time. He asked her how she managed to come so early. She innocently replied, the way you told me, Panditji, by chanting the name of Hari. And she walked back over the water and called him to follow. Panditji followed her, but the Panditji was very careful of his silk dhoti rather than to chant the holy names. Eventually, he fell down. So the cowherd girl remarked, oh, Panditji, you are not thinking of Hari at all. See the determination and the faith in the holy names. So now Panditji realized that he was proud of learning and had no pure devotion towards the Lord. Only by pure loving devotion one can achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So the weeds of this Pratishta Asha must be uprooted. Otherwise, it will be show bottle devotion. As the Panditji showed, who had full knowledge of Shastras, but his faith in the name of God was not there. But this cowherd, uneducated girl had full faith and devotion on the holy names and was able to cross the river. Her only aim was to do her duty sincerely and satisfy her master, seriously and sincerely. See, this also reminds me of Sriman Jayananda Brahmachari, who was doing the most menial service, and Srila Prabhupada had to call him several times to meet him. He was a senior devotee, but never preferred to hold any post or position. But only with a simple service attitude he used to serve the devotees. So let us all pray to the Vaishnavas, Guru and Prabhupada and everybody, to shower an iota of pure devotion to all of us. See, it's a very beautiful shloka which my Guru Maharaj educated all of us. This verse itself is very simple and powerful. In fact, he told to one of my godbrother during the initiation time that we have to take 6 vows which we should follow for the rest of our lives. And this beautiful verse is Nanyam vadami na shrunomi na chintayami Nanyam smarami na bhajami na chayashrayami Krishna tvadiya charanambujamantarena Shri Shri Nivasa Purushottama Dehi Dasyam. I will not speak of any topics, nor will I hear any topics, nor meditate on any subject, nor think of any subject, nor worship anyone, nor take shelter of anyone else other than the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna. Let me capture his lotus feet tightly in the core of my heart by performing sincere devotional service unto him. And I pray earnestly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in whom resides the goddess of fortune, to make me his unalloyed servant eternally. So the 6 vows that we should take care, they are: number 1, Nanyam Vadami. I will not speak of anything other than Krishna's topics. Number 2, Na Shrunomi. I will not hear of any topics other than Krishna's. Number 3, Na Chintayami. I will not meditate on any subject other than Krishna's. Number 4, Na Smarami. I will not think of anybody except Krishna. Number 5, Na Bhajami. I will not worship anyone but Krishna. And number 6, Na Ashrayami. I will not take shelter of anyone but Krishna. So when we take these 6 vows seriously and try to follow it as much as we can, then we will definitely get lasting peace and bliss in this life itself. So it is lack of hearing, lack of hearing, speaking, and meditating on the transcendental topics of Krishna that is making us weak spiritually, and then we are going mental. See, we have loads of time to talk about our own katha, but not a few minutes in a day to talk about Krishna katha. Then what is the point in cribbing that Krishna is not reciprocating? Shastras, especially Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, are full of transcendental topics on Krishna. But it is our lack of interest in meditating on those transcendental pastimes that is not taking us out of these lower modes of mental nature. And we continue to suffer in the world. Let us sincerely pray under the lotus feet of, again, Guru, Prabhupada and Krishna always, that every moment we should pray there, so that they will give us the strength to follow these powerful vows and keep ourselves focused in sincere devotional service unto Supreme Lord Krishna. See, miseries come at us. Correct. Everybody gets miseries. We saw the 7 problems, right? Miseries come at us not to trouble us, but to make us more strong and resolute in our determination to perform devotional service. Actually, only when we are in trouble can we understand how much pain others in the world are going through. See, realizing that everyone is in the same boat and everyone is struggling like ourselves, we will not try to bother others by cribbing about our own problems. See, others are also looking for somewhere to release their anxieties. So, a true devotee does not pay too much attention on his own problems, but sorry. So, a true devotee, he does not pay too much attention on his own problems, okay, but rather goes out to help alleviate others' sufferings as much as they can. So, this is the best way to forget about our own pains. See, as devotees, we should always try to alleviate others' miseries. But we ourselves are in a miserable situation, then how are we to console others? We can practically experience that by helping others when they are in trouble, our miseries automatically disappear. This is the secret of devotional service. See, it is indeed true that we can all experience this miracle just by going out to help others, either through preaching or trying to make them understand that by keeping faith in Krishna, we can overcome all the tough periods. Of course, to inject them with that faith, right? First of all, we ourselves should have this strong faith that Krishna will protect us definitely. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna, Vishwasa Palana. And if that were the case, if we had that faith, then we won't be bothered by painful situations. But bringing that faith within our hearts, which has been filled with so many millions of lifetimes faithlessness, is not such an easy task. At the same time, we cannot also go artificially behaving like an advanced devotee. Artificially behaving like an advanced devotee. Like sweeping our problems under the carpet and outwardly trying to behave as if we are not affected at all. That is also not possible. Problems can be anything. What are the problems? Long-standing bad habits, lack of interest in our sadhana, unwillingness to seriously study Srila Prabhupada's books, family or personal problems, financial difficulties. The list is endless. Constantly facing these problems, we are bound to get bogged down at some point in our life. There is always a breakdown point for each one of us. And Krishna knows everyone's limit. So we should always try to have a honest relationship with someone who is trustworthy and reveal to them in confidence our share of difficulties. It will be best if this devotee is our spiritual master, because he knows everything about the person already through the Paramatma and will be extremely glad to help if we fully surrender unto him with strong faith that he is the one person in this world who fully cares for me and his solutions will work for me 100%. That is none other than the spiritual master, Guru. If we get that, it's well and good. If one does not yet have a spiritual master, they can do the same thing with a dependable senior Vaishnava. So this is so very important for our devotional service that Srila Rupa Goswami has listed it as one of the important items in his Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction, number 4. Dadati pratignati guhyam akhyati prichati bhungte bhojayate chaiva sadvidam shadvidam priti lakshanam. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasada and offering prasada are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. See, if I am a rascal, it is always good to reveal that I am a rascal. So by concealing our share of shortcomings or difficulties, we tend to put ourselves on a pedestal, thinking that I am so and so. Now, because people tend to glorify us until they know our shortcomings, right? But once they know, but there is saying, no, the show cannot go on forever. It has to end sometime. So we should try to take a stock of our shortcomings and difficulties and sincerely pray to Krishna and Guru that please let us get out of these hurdles and progress towards the eternal and blissful life of transcendental loving devotion service to Krishna. I think the time is under 5 minutes, so just give 2 minutes. See, in fact, in this, Prabhupada in the translation of this current verse, he says, if a devotee desires material religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation from the material world, he is awarded these results. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So devotional service is so potent. See, Uddhava, he was supremely intelligent, was the best counselor of the Vrishni dynasty, and a beloved friend of Lord Krishna, and a direct disciple of Brihaspati. He was initially a great Jnani, but after being sent as Krishna's messenger to the gopis in Vrindavana, and after seeing their extraordinary pure love and feelings of intense separation, he became a great devotee. So Uddhava's greatness can be known from the fact that Krishna selected Sri Uddhava to be with him at the time of his departure from the material world. Krishna spoke to Lord Brahma after millions of years of austerity, right? But we can see that Krishna just like that spoke the famous Uddhava Gita, containing so many wonderful verses to Uddhava with great love and affection. So we can learn nice lessons from the instructions given by Krishna to Uddhava. First one is constant remembrance of the Lord. The second is preferring service over liberation. Third is humility. Fourth is sacrificing his own personal interest to follow Krishna's instructions. And fifth is be careful not to surpass the greater personality. This can be discussed in more detail. I'm just giving the overview because time is the essence now. So we can see Dhruva is known as Arthavit, being very wise. So Bhagavatam 4.9.28, Prabhupada says, an Arthavit is also called a Paramahamsa. So Paramahamsa accepts only the active principle of everything. Just as a swan, no, it accepts only the milk from a mixture of water and milk. When a milk is mixed with water, it will take only the milk from that also. That is a Paramahamsa. Accepts only the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his life and soul, neglecting all external material things. So Dhruva Maharaj was in this category. So liberated persons like Dhruva Maharaj may seemingly appear as duty-bound persons, in this world. But by studying their lives, we can see they're acting under the Lord's internal potency, Yoga Maya. A few points shows how King Dhruva's transcendental characteristics. First one is, seeking revenge for his stepmother's deeming him unworthy to approach his father. 5-year-old Dhruva Maharaj chose to ignore his bodily dharma, Deha dharma, of staying home with mom, with his mother, right? For the sake of austerities in the forest. So the goal of his austerities was to get a kingdom greater than his father, right? That we saw that. But follow the instructions of Narada Muni, Dhruva Maharaj constantly meditated on the lotus feet of the Lord while gradually reducing what? Eating, resting, breathing, standing on one leg like an unmoving pillar. So Narada had instructed Dhruva Maharaj in 4.8.41, any person who wants to accomplish the 4 goals of life, namely Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma means the religious duties. Artha means wealth. Kama means pleasure. And Moksha means liberation. You must serve the lotus feet of the Lord for the complete fulfillment of these. The second point is, after finally seeing the Supreme Lord Vishnu appearing before him, Dhruva Maharaj said, my Lord, O Supreme Lord, you are the supreme personified form of all benediction. Therefore, for one who abides in your devotional service with no other desire, worshipping your lotus feet is better than becoming king and lording it over kingdom. So after getting the darshan of the Lord, Dhruva condemned his previous desire for a kingdom. Although the Lord offered me his personal service, I wanted material name, fame, and prosperity. So he said, Dhruva Maharaj is telling, my case is just like that of the poor man who, when he satisfied a great emperor who wanted to give him anything, he might ask out of ignorance only a few grains of husk, whereas the king can give him anything. So in this way, Dhruva renounced the 4 purusharthas of bodily comforts. Kama, that is bodily comforts is Kama, then wealth is Artha, socio-religious activities is Dharma, and liberation is Moksha. So he renounced them for the sake of devotional service to the Lord, which is the 5th goal of life, Panchama Purushartha. The third point is, in spite of his no longer wanting to be a king, Dhruva Maharaj, he no longer wanted to be a king, which was initially the first point. So upon receiving the order of Vishnu to rule the world for 36,000 years, Dhruva, he perfectly accepted that service as described in Bhagavatam 4, 12, 11 and 12. 4th canto, 12th chapter, verse number 11 and 12. So Dhruva Maharaj, he rendered devotional service unto the Supreme, who is the reservoir of everything. How did he do it? With unrelenting force. So while carrying out his devotional service to the Lord, he could see that everything is situated in him only and that he is situated in all living entities. So Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent. And he protected religious principles. So with all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. So this is called a transcendental leader, whose nature is detachment from everything except the Lord's order. So he is called a transcendental leader because his nature is detachment from everything except the Lord's order. So we must be ever ready to change our position according to the Lord's plan. So this is how the devotional service, we have to take the lessons from Dhruva Maharaj and Mrigari, whatever you learned today. So thank you very much, Prabhu Maharaj. We stop here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Tagore. Vancha kalpataru kripa sindhubhaya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava. Thank you very much, Mataji. If you have any questions or anything to share, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The narration you told about the a little girl, the young lady who was devoted, and she started chanting the name of the Lord Hari, and she crossed the river. That was very inspiring. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. The full lot of lessons for us to learn. We'll meditate on this class again and again, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Jayananda Prabhuji's example was very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, very. He's such a wonderful devotee. He
Yes,
doesn't talk about it, post anything. He just wants to do his duty, his service.
Yes,
Correct.
Prabhuji.
Wonderful.
Prabhuji told Krishna told to Uddhava 5 things. What are the Prabhuji? Constant remembrance.
Oh, for Uddhava, you mean
Yes, Prabhuji.
I will share it in my this thing, Mother. I will send it to you. Is it okay?
Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
So I have
Lot
noted
of
down some details for those 5 points also. That also I will share in the group.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so
Lot
much.
of lessons.
Jai Hari Bol. Anantakoti Vaishnava ki jai. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, we'll close down here. So thank you very much for joining and giving me this opportunity to glorify the Lord and purify myself. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shanta Govinda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I am the host. I think I need to close myself. Okay. So take care. Be safe. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.